Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Tom Sherry.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Whitney is off tonight. It is the worst situation hospitals in the state have been in compared to the rest of the pandemic. That's how the Washington State Hospital Association describes this recent surge in COVID-19 cases. In their media briefing this morning, the Hospital Association says we are not at crisis standards of care yet, but we are at crisis levels of staffing right now, with many getting sick, leading to shortages. Here in Washington, or Eastern Washington rather, the Hospital Association expects upticks in COVID cases soon.
Well, another issue hospitals are seeing are patients who don't actually need to be there and should be in nursing homes or long-term care facilities or homes with home care, but instead are taking up space in hospital beds. For Newport Hospital and Health Services in Newport, Washington, Chief Operating Officer Christina Wager says this is something that they struggle with since there aren't a lot of resources for them as a rural facility.
Rural community, many of our community members are, under the poverty limits. They don't have the money to private pay into some of these skilled nursing facilities or rehabilitation care.
The Washington State Hospital Association is requesting people needing a COVID test or aren't very ill to avoid going to the emergency room for care, as well as wearing a medical face mask instead of those cloth masks. We're looking now at the coronavirus data in our area. The Spokane Regional Health District has reported 812 new cases today. Hospitalizations have stayed at 115 people for the last 3 days. As COVID-19 continues to surge here in the inland Northwest, Spokane schools have been forced to deal with staffing shortages as teachers and staff have to quarantine.
So to prep for the predicted peak of Omicron, Spokane Public Schools is changing up its schedule. KREM 2's Cody Proctor joining us live tonight to explain more on these changes. Cody?
Well, some of those changes are because of those staff shortages. Now, SPS says there are a significant amount of staff members out as of today, with over 400 certificated staff members absent today. That includes teachers. SPS Superintendent Dr. Adam Swinward says they managed to cover many of those spots with substitutes, administrators, and central office staff, but they admit there were spots that they just couldn't be covered, so they had other staff having to step in. Now, SPS also doesn't expect these staffing issues to get better with the peak of Omicron on the horizon here for us in Eastern Washington. So here are the changes. Next Monday, January 17th, was already scheduled as an off day for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. But now next Tuesday, that's January 18th, that will no longer have school. SPS will not offer morning or afternoon childcare on the 18th. Sports and other extracurricular activities will also be adjusted as well. Students will also likely be out of school Monday, January 24th. The district does plan to let parents know no later than January 20th if that is actually the case.
This is adjusting the school calendar, postponing those student days to March that were previously planned as non-student days, which will enable us to have some additional time to bring staff back from quarantining, as well as catch up with contact tracing.
Now, this announcement does take place just a day after we learned that several schools in our area actually decided to postpone their rivalry basketball games at the Spokane Arena and postponing them to February. And as for student absences, the superintendent also touched on that today. He says 20% of students were absent district-wide yesterday. Reporting in Spokane, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.